Yo guys, what's up? It's OGXRAYZ and welcome back to another video. So I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about Season 1 here of Modern Warfare 3. We do have a little bit of information here. I was actually a part of a creator call that they had today where they talked about information for multiplayer, for zombies, and for Warzone. And so I wanted to talk to you guys about what I learned there. More specifically, I'm going to be focused on the zombies portion of it, because to me that was kind of the most important part of it, or the part that I cared the most about. I'll have some information on Warzone and multiplayer as well. They really focus mostly on Warzone and zombies, and there's a ton of info for Warzone that I'll try to go as quickly as I can through towards the end of this. But for a lot of you guys who have been watching my content recently, you mostly care about zombies, and so I wanted to talk about that because I even got the ability to ask a question, so we'll talk about that. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into it. So first of all, let's talk a little bit of multiplayer. They're going to be buffing the SMGs, and also the assault rifles are going to be getting a nerf. So that's something that they looked into, and we're going to see more of that. Well, if you have a stowed riot shield on your back, there's going to be a little bit of a penalty for that, and on top of that, they're looking into letting you take more damage if you have a riot shield. So they're going to be looking at the damage, the ability to take damage, and all that. The other thing they're going to be looking at is the snaking that has been very prevalent in the game. It looks like they're going to be throttling it a little bit. So basically, you're going to be able to do it for a little bit, and then it's going to stop you from doing it easily again. So it looks like they are going to be addressing that issue. If you're someone who snakes, it's going to be a little bit harder for you. And then if you're someone who hates people who are snaking, you're probably going to see it as a little bit less annoying. All right, with that, there was a lot of info that we kind of already saw in terms of new maps and stuff, so we'll move on to zombies now, because this is what I wrote the most amount of stuff on. So they're going to be introducing the new Act 4 missions. Now, we do have Act 1, 2, and 3 currently in Modern Warfare Zombies. And then 4 will be coming out, so don't worry, you're not going to be like wiped out and be like, oh no, I didn't finish, am I going to be able to finish? You're going to be able to finish into Season 2, no problem. This is going to be Act 4, not a resetting of anything. All right, so there's going to be a anomaly detected, obviously, which is going to be that new Dark Aether zone. We got a lot of info on this, which I thought was very exciting and also very daunting. So you have to, once you get inside, as we've already mentioned, the information they had, there's going to be these things that you get called sigils that you can get via contracts. It's going to be kind of like in DMZ where you needed a special key card so that you could go into like the little construct or the building 21 or I forgot the number that it was, but you needed a special key card to get into that one. And this is going to be similar, where you have to collect sigils and you get these via contracts. By the way, you can also extract with or exfil with the sigils. So if you find one and you don't want to use it right away, you can extract with it and then bring it back like you would with some of those stronghold key cards in DMZ or building 21 key cards in DMZ. So you're going to be able to extract those sigils. Now, the sigils you're going to need to enter into the Dark Aether. Now, once you go inside, you have to figure out how to get out. They didn't want to spoil too much to us, so all they really told us was, hey, once you get in there, you have to figure out how to get out. Now, inside of the Aether or the Dark Aether area, you're going to find classified schematics. Now, these are the ones that we saw in the promotional stuff for the Season 1 update. So you're going to have that contract for the bone that you can get that will give you essentially a highest version of the dog that you normally get in Tier 3. So if you want that contract, then you're going to have to go inside the Dark Aether area to get it. The other contracts are going to be a armor one that replenishes, so a replenishing schematic for your armor, and then the third one is going to be essentially the Hell's Retriever or Hell's Redeemer, whatever you want to call it, that little Aether blade or whatever. So that all three of those contracts, classified schematics, are going to only be available in the Dark Aether. And on top of that, not just the regular Dark Aether, because inside of the Dark Aether you're going to find Elder Sigils. Now, these are a different version of the sigils that you can only find inside the Dark Aether that will actually allow you to go into an even harder version of the Dark Aether. So there's like bags within bags here, all right? There's different levels to this. So if you find the regular sigil in the regular open world, it'll take you to the Dark Aether. Once you're in there, you have to try to grind to get yourself a dark, to try to get yourself an Elder sigil, which will allow you to come back in the next time you go in into a much harder version of the Dark Aether, and within that Elder Sigil version of it is where you will find these classified schematics. So you're not even going to find these 3 schematics in the regular Dark Aether. You have to go to the hardest version of it just to get a chance at those schematics. So they also did mention that these are going to be, these little Dark Aether and then the Elder Dark Aether one are going to be much harder than Zone 3. So if you thought that running around in Zone 3 was kind of like you're puckering up, then get ready, because you're going to be hauling ass inside of the Dark Aether and then the Elder version of that. So I was pretty excited by that. Also very daunting. It's going to be very scary, especially if you are a solo player, to try to go into there, because it's going to be harder than Zone 3, and then there's an even harder version of that one that you have to do just to get those schematics. So you're definitely going to want a good team to try to get those classified schematics. So that's the information we got into it. And like I said, you can extract or exfil with the sigils if you're trying to save them for later on, if you want more runs at them. They did also answer the question about the time limit. There is a 30-minute time limit inside of the Dark Aether. So if you are hoping to get the max amount of time on the map, you would have to play as normal for that first 45 minutes or whatever it is. And then once it starts to count down to the, you know, radiation zone, then you can jump into the sigil, grab that sigil, go into the Dark Aether, and you'll get another 30 minutes on top of that. So if you want to extend, you can. If you want to go straight into it, you can. But there is a time limit, 30 minutes inside of the Dark Aether. They gave us a little bit of info on the VR11, pretty much what we already knew, that it turns zombies into allied mercenaries, it turns mercenaries into brain-rotted zombies, and players will receive a buff when they are shot. So, pretty cool. The next one is that they're going to be updating the exfil. So as we saw, a lot of people were upset that they made it so there was less zombies, less horrifying to go and try to exfil. Well, they have seen that. They wanted to reduce it for now because they needed to fix a bunch of crashing and fixes and stability and stuff like that, which is going to be coming. But with that said, they are going to be buffing the exfil now, so you can expect there to be more zombies and then a variety of boss zombies as well. And they did also mention that in season is when they're going to try to make it harder and, you know, add more zombies and do all the crazy stuff for the exfils. But all exfils will increase the number of enemies spawned, with the final exfil receiving a significant boost to enemy count and enemy types. So if you're hoping for that last rush final exfil, it's going to be hectic. Well, you're going to get it, and I'm really happy that they're doing that. A lot of people were upset about that, and so I'm really happy they're doing that. And then finally, they did also mention that they're hoping to make it so that if you disconnect or if there was a crash or something that happened in the game while you were playing, they're going to try to see if there's a way for them to make it so you keep the items that you lost. So your acquisitions, your rucksack is not going to just disappear. No ETA on this one from what they were saying. They were just saying they're looking into it to make sure that this is an issue that is addressed and hopefully fixed in the future, where if your lobby or your server crashes, you can still keep your stuff. I'm really happy for that. All right, so the thing that I got to ask a couple of questions. One, I wanted to ask about the cooldown of wonder weapons and schematics in general that you can get, that you can craft. And I asked them basically like, hey, you know, it's like 2-day cooldown time on the ray gun, on the Wonder Waff schematics. Is that something you guys are adjusting, or is it something you're looking into at all? And they basically told me that they were kind of happy with where it was at, but that they are aware that they could look at it and kind of see if they want to adjust it and make it easier. I just feel like you shouldn't have to wait 2 days to use a wonder weapon schematic. Like once a day, cut it at least down to every 24 hours, right? So they said that they're going to keep an eye on it, so I at least wanted to ask about that. And then J God actually did ask a very good question as well, which was, you don't really get a ton of essence when you complete mercenary strongholds. And it's true. Or you do some of the nests and stuff. Like some of the nests, you'll get pretty good essence, but if you face the mercenaries, you literally get like no cash out of it. So he was saying like, hey, is there something you can do about that? Are you guys looking into it to make it so it's more rewarding? And they did say that they are specifically looking at that one. that it's been brought to their attention now, and also that they're going to take a look to make sure that contracts are a little bit more rewarding, so you feel like there's a need for you to go out and complete those contracts. So that is basically what they were looking at. And then a little bit of info here for Warzone. 100 player count, that's what it's going to be at when it launches. The map is actually, Urzikstan is 20% smaller than Al Mazrah, and they are going to try to make it so that all squad sizes, so if you like playing in quads, in trios, duos, or solo, that they're going to try to have them available at all times. So we'll see what happens with that. All right, so here's all the information they told us about Warzone. Hopefully I can get this all knocked out for you. There's a lot of information, but Legendary Supply Box Guitar Riff Celebration is back. OG Loadout Crate model has returned. Allied Loadout Crates now have an in-world highlight. Gas Mask is now the first item in the Loadout UI. The Loadout UI is now a carousel, so that basically means that if you scroll left on the first thing, it'll get you all the way to the end on the right. So you don't have to scroll all the way to the right anymore. If you're trying to get to the rightmost thing, you can just scroll left. Gulag entry kits can now be stowed in the backpack for a teammate. Increased Gulag entry kit drop rate in loot. Backpack to loadout auto equip of items. So you can choose, like, say there's a self-reviver or whatever, you want it to auto be used, you can have that on now as well. Enemy ping showing kill cams. One-shot snipers have returned. No weapon tuning in the gunsmith. Post-victory Gulag looting, so if you win the Gulag, you have a little bit of time to run around and grab some stuff that's surrounding the Gulag. Buy stations accessible 30 meters into the gas. Buy stations show on TAC map. And now buy stations show on TAC map if they are accessible. New buy station inventory. There's going to be a slide distance. And now there's going to be an update to where slide distance is now impacted by surface incline. So if you're sliding up an incline, you're going to be a little bit... you're not gonna go as far, and you're not gonna be as fast on that slide. Fire sale discount can now be up to 50%. Smoke grenade duration has been nerfed by 20%. The portable radar distance has now been doubled to 76 meters. Armor box and munitions box no longer have a delay when deployed, which is good to hear. Reduce loadout cost to 15,000, and it also scales depending on your squad size, so it's not going to be 15 grand if you're trying to get it in a solo game. Modern Warfare 3 operators have a new default parachute. They're going to be different from the MW2 ones. Abandoning a stronghold will now neutralize it, so you no longer get the UAV effect. Gas mask overlay has been adjusted for a clearer view. Plate carriers are now 1-to-1 in function with their perk. Stealth vest no longer counters an advanced UAV. Redeploy drones only move when they are deep in the gas. Increased redeploy drone catapult distance. Less extreme default first circle. Low health visual overlay is now more transparent for better visibility, and the low health visual overlay also starts at a lower health. Spawn protection decreased to 2.5 seconds from 10 seconds. They reduced the slowdown time when landing from a jump. More contracts will be available in the late game. Scavenger contract is back and awards guaranteed plate carrier. The intel contract capture can now be sped up by multiple squad mates being present, so the more teammates you have, the faster it'll go. Most wanted contract now awards guaranteed Gulag entry kit in the supply box, and then score events in-game are now yellow text, and input delay when getting a vehicle to accelerate has been reduced by 50%, which is good. They did have a little bit more info here with what they are intending to do. They're going to try to work on some bugs and imbalances. They're going to try to do the continued quality of life improvements. So they're going to keep looking at Warzone. They're going to continue to focus on their pacing, the updating the weapon metas, and also updating the Gulag. They're hoping to have something different as consistently as they can. Maybe not every time there's a new season, but they want to make sure that there's different weapon loadouts, map variants, new public events, so they're going to try to keep Gulag engaging and fresh. So with that said, that's a bunch of info we got. There's going to be even more when they do release their patch notes, which will now be separated between multiplayer and Warzone, so they'll each have their own different patch notes. I'm happy with that. So yeah, we're going to have more info coming later on with that. You guys have an awesome day. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to Activision for allowing me to be a part of this creator call. Always fun, and it's pretty cool getting to ask questions to the developers themselves. So, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Drop a like if you're new. Make sure to subscribe with notifications on if you guys enjoy the content and want to see more. And then if you guys want to talk and interact, at OGXRAYZ over on Twitter, give me a follow, link down below over there. I usually tweet about stuff before I make videos, so get the exclusives. Follow me on Twitter/X. And then if you guys want to support the channel directly, check out my sponsors. I'm going to plug them right here. Aim Controller, Control Freak. I use them every single time that I play. They're awesome. Check them out. Code OGXRAYZ gets you a discount. Or if you want to do it through Amazon, I do have an Amazon store as well. Link down below. You guys have an awesome day. Take care. And until next time, I'm out. Peace.